History provides me with no shortage of mad lads who have more than earned their title, but in this instance, we have a warlord. Now, that alone already makes someone quite a mad lad, but what makes this one special is he was probably one of the first ever shitposters, and he had a really fucked up sense of humour. I'm going to pronounce every single name in this video wrong. The Dogmeat General, Zongchang. But before we get into the mad lad, yeah, you guessed it, it's Raid Shadow Legends. The hottest mobile game of this year, Raid Shadow Legends, has been downloaded over 10 million times in just 3 months, and the best thing is, it's free to play. This very detailed and fun game has over 400 champions for you to collect, all with different special abilities and different builds. Right now my favourite champion is the Crusader, because you can play through the storyline solo, fight other players in the PvP arena, or you can get friends to join your clan and go on raids. I find this game really fun, as do a lot of people, because Raid has nearly a perfect score on the Play Store. There is now also a rewards program for new players where you can get daily login rewards for the first 90 days. So save me from queuing up at the job centre and click the link down in the description where you'll get 50,000 free silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program. The Tories are still in power. Please don't make me go back to the job centre. Click the link. Zongchang was born in Shandong, China in February of 1881. He was born into poverty, and in 1911 he ended up joining up with a criminal gang and he became a bandit. The gang overall managed to rise to power by offering their services to Jiangsu's military governor as mercenaries to assist in his many military conflicts. Zongchang's higher status and success didn't last for very long though, because he and his merry band of mercenaries were defeated by enemy forces and he had to flee the area for his safety. He ended up taking refuge with another warlord based in Manchuria named Zhang. Zongchang managed to win the favour of Zhulin through a very unusual method. Zhulin had a party and invited all of his men and all of his generals. They all attended the party and immediately started showering Zhulin with big, expensive and extravagant gifts. Zongchang, however, sent Zhulin 2 empty coolie baskets, which are baskets that Chinese labourers wear to carry things around, and Zongchang didn't even turn up to the party. Zhulin was confused and, quite frankly, a little bit pissed off and offended by this gift, until he understood that the gift was symbolic. Basically, Zongchang was telling Zhulin that he was prepared to shoulder any responsibilities that Zhulin entrusted him with. Zhulin respected this stance, and so rewarded Zongchang with a command position as a general in his army. Zongchang, however, still didn't visit Zhulin in person, and didn't visit him in person for quite a while, because he said that he would only finally meet him once Zhulin had proven himself in battle. You know, his own leader, the guy that's in charge of him. Zongchang said, I'm not interested in seeing that motherfucker until I know he can fight good. His own leader. So Zongchang was a little bit of a cheeky bastard. Zhulin's favour in Zongchang though was not misplaced, because Zongchang proved himself to be an extremely capable general who was very, very skilled at expanding his forces and using them wisely. Zongchang's main strategy was to use heavily armoured trains to fight and also escort his forces around, and these trains were all manned by highly experienced Russian mercenaries. He also recruited 5,000 Russian refugees that had fled to China after the Russian Civil War because they just knew communism was going to be bad. He used these refugees to form a cavalry unit, and he even dressed all of them up in military regalia and uniforms to make them look like the Russian Tsar's armies, you know, just so they could remember the good old days. He was also one of the first ever Chinese generals to incorporate women into his forces, because he was progressive. He had an entire regiment of nurses, which was comprised entirely of white Russian women, who he instructed to go around every single person in his army and train all of them in combat medical techniques. Basically, making every single person a trained combat medic. This greatly increased the morale of all of the troops, and it also greatly increased their combat effectiveness. It's also rumoured that of these white Russian women, Zongchang was shagging half of them. Because Zongchang was a big shagger. He had over 50 concubines, all of varying nationalities. There was Japanese, Korean, German, French, American, you name it, he was fucking it. But because he had so many concubines, he couldn't remember all of their names and he couldn't be bothered to. So instead he just numbered them all and referred to them by their numbers. Hi there, I'd like to order a number 23. Extra thick. And Zongchang really didn't like people messing around with his concubines, apart from one instance when Zongchang found out that one of his own officers was having an affair with one of his concubines. When Zongchang confronted both of them about it, they told Zongchang that they were in love. So Zongchang didn't want to stand in the way of that, and he actually let them marry. Zongchang managed to defeat the army of General Wu Pifu by making all of Wu's forces defect over to his side. Zongchang promised them that if they did so, they would all keep their original ranks. Wu's forces decided that this was a much better choice than dying, so they accepted Zongchang's offer and defected over into his forces. After this event, Zongchang decided to do a mass promotion ceremony for all of these new soldiers that had defected into his ranks, and also all of his own officers. The only problem was there wasn't enough gold and silver metal to make all the little silver and gold stars that he needed to put on their uniform to promote them and represent their rank. So Zongchang ordered that all of the gold and silver stars that he needed were to be made from the gold and silver foil lining that you find inside cigarette packets. During the mass promotion ceremony, all of the people who got promoted were very, very upset because the shiny new badge they had just been given to represent their new rank was already damaged and fallen apart because it was made of fucking tinfoil. In 1924, Zongchang took part in the Second Zili Fengtian War, and by 1925 he had conquered all of Shanghai and Nanjing in the name of his commander Zhu Lin. Zhu Lin rewarded Zongchang by appointing him as military governor and warlord of Shandong. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to list a few things that Zongchang did while he was a warlord, just so that you can have a better understanding as to why this man is an absolute mad lad. He got the nickname the Dogmeat General not for the reason that you think. There's a popular gambling game in China called Pai Gao, which translates into eating dog meat, and Zongchang was a serious gambler and this was his favourite game that he always played. So that's how he got that nickname. He also earned the nickname the Three Don't Knows, because he didn't know how big his army was, he didn't know how much money he had, and he didn't know how many concubines he had. He was also very well known for bringing his very elderly mother around with him everywhere he went, and he would use her as counsel, and he would value her advice over everyone else's. During a military campaign, Zongchang made a promise to his people that he would win this battle or come home in a coffin. Unfortunately, Zongchang lost the battle, but he was still alive. So Zongchang had his soldiers parade him through the streets while he lay in a coffin, smoking a large cigar. One time, there was a drought in Shandong, and it was causing great suffering to its people. And so Zongchang decided to pay a visit to the Temple of the Storm God, a holy and sacred place that contains the statue of the Storm God, who is also called Zhang. It's a place where many of the people of Shandong had gathered to kneel before the statue, bring it offerings, and pray and beg for the storm god Zhang to bless them with rain and end their suffering. A most holy and sacred place, deeply embedded in Chinese culture. Zongchang, however, had a different approach. He walked into this most holy and sacred of sites and walked towards the worshippers who had gathered around the statue, all on their knees, pleading and praying for Zhang, the storm god, to bless them with rain and end their suffering. Zongchang moved past the worshippers gracefully, making sure that he didn't disturb any of them during this most, holy of rituals. And he walked up and stood before the statue of Zhang, Lord of Storms, Bringer of Rain, Ruler of the Skies. And Zongchang, I'm just going to read this from here, just to make sure that I get this correct, slapped the statue across the face and yelled, "Fuck your sister, how dare you make Shandong's people suffer by not giving us rain." The next day, Zongchang ordered that his entire artillery regiment were to fire into the sky until it rained. It rained the next day. This also gave birth to another of Zongchang's many nicknames, 72 Cannon Chang. When Zongchang seen a basketball game for the very first time, he was very confused about the rules and he didn't really know what the game was about, so he shouted loudly, "Why the hell are they all fighting over a single ball? We're the hosts, are we seriously this poor?" He then ordered that each player be given their own ball. And they were. Nobody really had any idea what to do, so everyone just sort of ran around the court dribbling their own ball. Zongchang would very often travel to Shanghai with his officers and also his commander Zhu Lin's son, who had become one of his closest friends, where they would all get fucked up on opium and bang hookers. Yes, lads! Warlords on tour! Warlords on tour! I was saying warlords on tour, babe. I'm going to Shanghai. I'm going to smoke a fuck ton of opium and bang hookers.
As long as you're not angry.
That's what you took away from that.
Oh, you just sounded so angry. That's why I came in. I thought something was wrong when you were punching me.
You don't care about me smoking opium and banging hookers. Zongchang also found himself involved and profiting heavily from the opium trade. This resulted in a rather infamous incident that happened in 1925 in Zongchang's headquarters. A group of Zongchang's officers all started arguing with each other over who would get the largest share out of an opium deal that they all just did. It resulted in a gunfight that left 3 of them dead. His exploits were so many, and so mental, that Time magazine dubbed him China's basest warlord. Like, exact words. They literally called him China's basest warlord. However, in 1928, during the Northern Expedition conflict, General Bai Chongxi managed to defeat Zongchang and capture 20,000 of his soldiers and nearly captured Zongchang himself. Zongchang fled beyond the Great Wall to Manchuria for his safety. He lived in Dalian under Japanese protection, but he was really salty at having his power taken from him. So he gathered back all of the generals, got his army back together, and as some claim, some Japanese backing, and he led a rebellion against Liu Zenin, who had taken over Zongchang's old position as warlord of Shandong. Zongchang and all the other warlords battled for months to try and overthrow Zenin, and this rebellion caused heavy damage to Shandong, as well as heavy civilian casualties, and in the end, Zongchang was defeated, so he fled to Japan in exile. But he did bring all of his wealth and concubines with him. He lived in Beppu, Japan, and was involved with their high society, but for the most part he was flying under the radar and enjoying the quiet life. At least that was right up until he found out that the deposed Crown Prince Zhang was banging one of his concubines. One day, while the prince was out and about, completely out of nowhere, he gets shot dead and instantly killed. And everyone looked up to see, standing in an open hotel room window, Zhang Zongchang holding a rifle, because he just done the prince in Lee Harvey Oswald style. Zongchang was arrested and charged with murder. And this is the defence that he gave in court. Look, the prince just so happened to be walking past while I was standing at my open hotel room window cleaning my rifle because that's where I like to clean my rifle, and while I was cleaning it, it just accidentally went off, and out of everywhere that the bullet could have went, it just so happened to perform a perfect kill shot on a piece of shit that I have a problem with. And I know, that sounds bad, and I know it sounds really bad, but it was a genuine mistake, okay? My bad. Sorry about that, fellas. It won't happen again. Zongchang was found guilty by a Japanese court, and he was given the option of spending either 15 days in jail or paying a $150 fine. He chose to pay the fine. However, Zongchang wasn't just a cheeky chappy. Bear in mind, this guy was a warlord, and during his time as warlord, he did some pretty brutal and atrocious things that earned him a lot of enemies. And one day, his past finally caught up with him. In 1932, Zongchang decided that he wanted to visit Shandong, his old stomping ground, because he missed the place. But when he got off the train at Jinan Station in Shandong, he was shot dead by an assassin. It turns out there was 2 reasons for the assassination. Local leadership heard that Zongchang was coming back, and they still seen him as a political threat, and so they took this opportunity to take him out of the picture. But the assassin who pulled the trigger also had his own reasons. He wanted revenge on Zongchang because Zongchang had actually murdered his uncle. And so ends the story of Zongchang. But he did leave somewhat of a legacy behind, which I've been saving for the end. You see, despite him being a bit mental and, a literal warlord, he did have a little artistic pleasure that he very often liked to do, and that was writing poetry. And I have some of his poems here, and well, they're really something. This one is titled Visiting Penghai Pavilion. What a pavilion. Place is fucking nice. If the gods can get here, I'll take a seat too. Have a drink by the window. Sing some songs to the ocean. Play some cards. I think I'll get drunk. Brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it? This one is simply called Untitled. Someone asks me how many women I have. I really don't know either. Yesterday a boy called me dad. I don't know who his mother is. This one is titled Poem About Bastards. You tell me to do this. He tells me to do that. You're all bastards. Go fuck your mother. Yes, there's great artistic merit to this one. I can't even make it through my own joke. This one was written during Shandong's drought, right before Zongchang went to visit the Storm God's temple. It's titled Praying for Rain. The Sky God is also named Zhang. Why does he make life hard for me? If it doesn't rain in 3 days, I'll destroy your temple. Then I'll have cannons bombard your mum. It's like a fucking Call of Duty lobby. Zongchang did develop a reputation for being a pretty ruthless and brutal warlord. He did some pretty fucked up things, but never let it be said that the man didn't have a sense of humour. I just felt the need to throw in a little bit of gay shit here at the end, because this is something that I don't do enough, and you all definitely deserve it. See the people that subscribe to my Patreon, subscribe to my Subscribestar, buy my merch and donate to my PayPal. Thank you. I definitely don't do this enough, but thank you very much. Ever since YouTube completely demonetised my channel and still to this day refused to speak to me about it, you guys have really helped. You've helped keep the lights on. You've helped me keep doing what I'm doing, because for once in my life, I've found a job that I actually truly love doing, and you guys are the real MVPs, right? You really help me out, and you help me keep doing what I'm doing, and I definitely don't do this enough, but thank you very much to everybody that helps me out. Now give me a kiss. I am also on DLive. I play video games on there. Go and subscribe to my DLive.
It's Count Dankula on YouTube. Everybody should subscribe.